Morning, Trainiacs. Just when I thought it was going to be acceptable and we might get to ride outside today, it's -10. On the bright side, that's the ground. I haven't seen that in, feels like a year. So I was reading some stuff yesterday about pedaling technique. And of course there's a right and a wrong way to pedal. This is triathlon, nothing's easy. So, after I do this Zwift workout, let's discuss pedaling technique. All the boring things that we could talk about in triathlon. But this one, it actually, you know what? Biking fast makes a difference. Whew. Nothing much serious there, just on a rest week. That was a total of 55 minutes, 10-minute warm-up, and then 5 minutes of prep, going 170 watts, 190, 210, 230, 250, 5-minute cool down, and then twice I repeated 6 minutes at really low, like 60 to 70 cadence, around 250 watts, just under FTP, 2 minutes at about 280 watts with really high cadence, around 100, and then chill out for 17 minutes. All right, let's talk pedaling technique. I'm gonna get off and chat with you about that. So there's a little bit of debate about what the best pedaling technique is. And it's primarily, as you're coming down, do you want your toe pointed slightly down or nice and horizontal? And what's been found is that when your toe is horizontal, it's going to recruit a lot more of the muscle fibers in your glute and your hamstrings, whereas when your toe is pointed down, it's going to be recruiting a lot of the muscles in your quadriceps. The size of the muscle groups in your glute and hamstrings is a heck of a lot bigger than in your quads. So when you start getting really, really granular, yes, having your foot nice and horizontal, pressing down, is more efficient. It's going to recruit more muscle fibers. You're naturally actually going to do that when you start going up a hill. A couple of things that it promotes are, as it's coming down, it's actually stretching out the foot a little bit and creating that little bit of load, and that little bit of tension to pop off of is actually going to make your pedal stroke at the bottom a lot more powerful. You're going to be able to create this motion where it feels like you're wiping mud off the bottom of your toe. And that's how you actually want to start the pedal stroke coming up. That said, it's not just as simple as every single person should have a level foot during their pedal stroke. It comes down to a lot of physiology, if you're flexible enough to do that, what your natural biomechanics are. And then when you have your toe down, it ends up creating a longer pedal stroke, which compensates for that lack of the spring. So in big broad terms, it doesn't really matter if you're just looking at like the 80–90% of, look, you just need to cycle and you're gonna get faster. But when you start looking at little minute details and getting the most that you possibly can out of your cycling, you wanna probably have that level foot. Another thing, and this is a way bigger thing, is that the tracking of your feet and your knees makes a bigger difference. Now this isn't necessarily pedal stroke, but this is the leg movement that goes into pushing those pedals. You want that pedal stroke to be perfectly vertical, and you don't want your knees bowing out. You don't want your knees moved to one side. You want them to be nice and symmetrical. You don't want a hitch on either side. And how you can do this is by getting a bike fit where they will assess your cleat position, assess your knee tracking. Hopefully they're doing a 3D fit where they're putting dots all along your body and they're actually seeing how your knee is tracking. I think locally here at Alter Ego, it costs something like $300 to $400 versus $150 to $200 for the non 3D dots, best money you'll ever spend in cycling, hands down. And with me specifically, what they had to do is my right knee was all over the place, so they put insoles in that right knee, and bam, all of a sudden I had a nice stable platform to push off of and actually transfer some power to the pedals instead of just flip-flopping around. So as usual, I've just given you another thing to have to worry about. When it comes right down to it, there is one thing that you can do that will alleviate a lot of this. Well, two things. Number one, get a bike fit. Number two, if you do high resistance pedaling, that's that high muscle tension that I've been talking about lately, it ends up forcing you to finish your pedal stroke with a snap. It ends up forcing you to have to pull up and use your glutes and your hamstrings. Because it's so much harder, you almost have no choice but to do things properly, because you need every ounce of help that you can get when you're doing like 50, 60 cadence kind of pedaling. Just be careful with it. Don't ramp up too soon. Now just a little bit of the old side bum routine and I will be ready for the day. Hey, what's up, Trainiacs? Triathlon Taren here with another edition of the Triathlon Trainee Ask podcast, where I answer your triathlon questions 5 days a week. Today's question comes from David, and it's about the intensity and the frequency that you should be doing your tempo, I'm guessing, run sessions at. Thank you very much for your question, David, and it's a very good one. The balance of the amount of speed work you should be doing versus the amount of drill work you should be doing, growing an Instagram following your passions of sharing your story with the world on YouTube, on Instagram, through a podcast, whatever it is, that's kind of the entire spirit of what I try to get across with Triathlon Taren. It's that you can face your fears, you can do things that other people aren't necessarily really going to support or understand. Thank you very much for your question, Dave. This is an excellent one about swimming for triathletes. It may shock you to know that right now I'm actually struggling with motivation. So Jazz, I hope that this helps you out. Go and get lots of sponsors, and I hope that it helps out other Trainiacs get some sponsors. If you want to get your question answered here on the Trainee Ask podcast, go to triathlontaren.com/traineeask. Ask your question there. Be sure to give everyone around you a shout out. Your supportive race Sherpas, your training partners, your coaches. And while you're there, you will love what we've got. If you click top left at free resources, we now have over a half a dozen free downloadable goodies for you. Finally, if you're digging these Trainee Ask podcasts, head over to iTunes, give us a review. That is the best thanks that you can give us. Really helps us get discovered there, and it helps future aspiring Trainiacs find us. Thank you, Jazz. Catch everyone in the next episode. She is a glamorous life I lead, Trainiacs. Very productive day, though. Go check out the Trainee Ask podcast. If you're more into interview-style podcasts, go check out the Triathlon Taren podcast. It is the most reviewed triathlon podcast in the world. And subscribe below if you're not. Like it if you are. Later.